Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Agentic CMO. I'm Dave Lehman, COO and president here at Birdeye, and your host of the Agentic CMO, where we talk to amazing people in the field of multi-location businesses who run their business, think about using AI, and engage their customers where they are. I am thrilled today to be joined with one of our great customers and a great thought leader in the industry, Robert DeAnnabelle from Crossroads. Robert, introduce yourself, introduce the business, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Appreciate you having me on, Dave. Great to see you again, and looking forward to this conversation. Been with Crossroads for a little over a year now, and serve as the vice president of growth and corporate development, which includes our marketing and community engagement departments as well. Spent the majority of my career in healthcare investment banking. Always had an innate passion for healthcare, and wanted to find an opportunity that combined my passions for healthcare, but also interest in operations and growth, and such. And so, following my career in healthcare investment banking, realized that was super interested in the behavioral health industry, specifically mental health and substance use disorder. Consistently saw an opportunity to improve clinical care and operations and access to care, which I think will be essential to this conversation today. And so joined a startup focused on intensive outpatient program for behavioral health. Spent about 2.5 years overseeing growth and corporate development there. Started off with about 4 or 5 clinics, launched to about 16 to 18 clinics, and really just saw exponential growth there. And now I'm here at Crossroads, which has been an amazing experience. We are one of the largest national outpatient providers of medication-assisted treatment. We operate over 100 locations in 9 states, and continue to see expansion across geographies and service lines. And so, happy to jump into the conversation today. And that's a little bit about myself and Crossroads.
Yeah, that's great. So obviously not a simple or straightforward business with both multiple locations, potentially sensitive information, different ways people find you, I'm sure, than most traditional healthcare systems as well. But sounds like the foundation of what needs a lot of agentic support as well. But let's start, Robert, on that patient journey. Can you just talk, just baseline? How do people find Crossroads? How do they find their treatment centers?
Yeah, definitely. It's a great question, and something that I pretty much wake up thinking about every day. And so historically, the way patients are finding treatment is changing, right? I would say the majority of time it's been through friends and family, word of mouth. And those channels remain incredibly important. However, I would say that the biggest shift in the last 12 to 24 months, given all of the innovations and changes in AI, is that increasingly patients are beginning to search for care online. And so that fundamental fact is really important about how we connect with individuals seeking treatment, our existing patient base, and potentially new areas that we can provide care to. And so, how I think of our marketing department here is that it's not really just generating awareness anymore. It's really about helping patients navigate that uncertainty. And so healthcare consumers, now behave much more like any traditional consumer. They're researching, they're comparing options, they're reading reviews, and seek reassurance before making any decisions. And so how we can optimize the tools that we are using, specifically AI, is something that we're very, very focused on at Crossroads.
Yeah. Yeah. Catching them in that process of trying to find. I mean, I can imagine people are even trying to get their own help from these engines before reaching out. But being in that flow, like, what are some of the things you guys are doing? You know, there's a lot that's, I'm sure, similar to traditional SEO type things. A lot of things that are similar to, you know, local marketing. But what are some of the newer things you guys are looking at to drive that AI visibility?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And so, you know, AI is changing how healthcare organizations get discovered, right? You know, we're not just searching Google anymore. And I would say we're increasingly moving away from, you know, the traditional Google search. You know, they're asking ChatGPT, Gemini, and other AI platform questions like, what's the best addiction treatment center near me? What is medication assisted treatment? What should I look for in a recovery program? And from my side, this really changes how we think about content and authority, right? And so to me, the winners won't be the loudest marketers, they'll be the most trusted sources. And so there are a couple of things that we're doing internally, and I would say one of the biggest wins that we've been able to achieve, you know, through our partnership with Birdeye, is being able to centralize our patient reviews across the organization. This was a very difficult and challenging workflow that we as an organization did not previously optimize to before Birdeye coming on board. And one, being able to create a consistent feedback flow from our patients across the entire organization allows us to do several things. One, it allows us to celebrate the wins, right? Have we been able to see more patients? Have we been able to provide access to care that is showing improved clinical outcomes? But then on the flip side, it also allows us to identify potential issues, whether it be, you know, clients having a difficult time finding a location, whether it be some operational gaps. And this is real time. And so being able to capture this feedback almost instantaneously, routing that feedback internally, making sure that we understand what we can do to fix those operational deficiencies, and either explore that around rolling that out across other organizations. It allows us to sort of gain a competitive edge, right? We are hearing from it first from our patients and being able to address that head on. And so, sort of wrapping up that piece is, you know, while this is just one area where we've really been diving into the AI space, we've seen that the tools that we've employed have allowed us to do things that we typically say would fall lower on the prioritization scale, right? There are so many things out there that, you know, we can be doing as an organization. And, you know, you always hear the phrase, if I had 6 arms or you know, 2 brains, I could be doing much more in a shorter amount of time. And essentially that is what Birdeye is really doing for us.
That's great. And, you know, you mentioned the sort of the trust signals. I think what we're learning across the board is that, you know, reviews have always been important because consumers are going to look at them and they're going to only go to places that have high star ratings and, you know, that side of it. But it's sort of becoming a must-have, you know, as the trust signal for a lot of these engines is they're only going to surface or put forward an answer that has those strong reviews and you know, look at that information.
Definitely couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So the patient journey is changing. You guys got to go meet them there. But we got businesses to run as well. And AI has come along and really been a tool for a lot of businesses on helping them scale, helping them ideate, get through, hey, what's the new social post I should put out there? It's I feel like I put the same stuff out there over and over again, like that kind of thing. What are you guys doing internally with AI, just across the board? Birdeye or not Birdeye, just what are you guys doing, and how are you leveraging AI to run the business?
Yeah, it's really an exciting time. I think there have been so many rapid updates around AI. And so what we've done internally is sort of create an AI steering committee. And I think that this is a correct approach in addressing the evolution of all of the technologies that are being put out there, right? We are embracing AI, but I would put an asterisk around responsibly, right? We need to really understand the ROI here. And at the end of the day, it's about serving our patients with the best clinical care that we can provide. And so being able to come to the table, discuss some of the technologies that are being implemented across similar organizations and getting that feedback so that we're not reinventing the wheel, I would say has been super helpful. And now I'd also say, AI adoption is inevitable. Responsible adoption is a choice, and that's a choice Crossroads has made. And so there are a couple of avenues that, we have already started to either implement or begin implementation of AI tools and technologies. The first area I would say is definitely patient engagement, right? At the end of the day, healthcare is going to be a human interaction. And so providing that bedside manner and holding that individual's hand throughout the patient journey will be something that, Crossroads will definitely not steer away from. That is fundamental to our clinical care model. However, there are ways where we can increase patient engagement and retention through ongoing either text message or email or phone call campaigns that allows them, that allows us to remind them that Crossroads is here for you, whether it be in between appointments, whether it be you have graduated from our program, but you are feeling that you may want to come back. This allows our employees to really focus on the time with our current patient population and base, ensuring that we are providing that optimal care. And so this patient engagement area, I think we've just scratched the surface in being able to better serve our patients and taking the burden off of our healthcare providers to run these administrative tasks that we may have needed to bring on additional resources to support.
I hear this all the time in healthcare, that people spend so much time with the patient and then so much additional time writing notes, doing, follow up, all the rest of it. So you guys, it sounds like, are focusing on, let's get the human to human piece still there, super critical, but then relieve some of the external side of it, or the post care stuff.
Exactly. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on Crossroads, right, is trust. And I think, anecdotally speaking, there is still some hesitations and potential trust issues with AI. And so it's really working with your partners on identifying areas that you believe will create immediate value and impact to our patient population, while also continuing to build that trust with the individuals that you serve. And so you can really optimize the outcomes of the technologies that we're implementing.
How about on the marketing side? Is there things you've been doing or testing or looking at to improve that reach, improve your other marketing aspects or channels?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot on the marketing side that we are definitely diving into and looking at. And so, one of the areas that I would say is our alumni network. It is probably one of our biggest marketing opportunities to keep engagement with patients either we've served, continually served, but it also goes back to that point that I was just talking about around building that trust and still having that human interaction. And so, if we are able to utilize AI to consistently engage or allow for opportunities for alumni to connect with current patients or fellow alumni or even individuals and employees at Crossroads, that is a huge beneficial win. Again, something that would have to be really built out here with additional resources that we otherwise might not be able to achieve. And so this is an area where we believe AI can definitely be of assistance, provide that ROI. And then you build out sort of a marketing tool through your alumni network. And so that's one real example where we are diving pretty deep into for our next phase of growth.
Fantastic. Robbie, remember you got the advantage of seeing some of the things that Birdeye's got cooking right now. A lot of new products around like marketing automation, which we've released recently, Search AI, which we've released recently, and then a lot of new agents coming out that'll automate or put a human in the loop on a lot of complex tasks. On it. Just your thoughts on those. What are you most excited about? Where do you think these can have an impact?
Yeah, it's been great seeing all of the work that's being done at Birdeye to really address some of these core issues that not just Crossroads are seeing, but many healthcare organizations. And so this in terms of NPS scores and surveys, the marketing automation where we are able to track real-time feedback on some of our marketing campaigns and really optimizing our spend there, which typically takes, a full team of analysts to really provide those insights and data to drive better campaign performances. So a lot of the innovation that's coming out of Birdeye is, addressing a lot of the issues that we see over and over again on the operations sort of a house of things. And so, really excited to continue to partner together, understand how we can, work together to implement some of these agents and processes to better serve our patients. Because at the end of the day, that is what these tools will allow us to do, and that's what we're, truly excited about.
Excellent. Well, you cover a lot in the business. You're obviously not just focused on marketing. You're a business builder, but based on what you understand about the customer journey in marketing, how to leverage AI internally, you are clearly an agentic CMO. So I'll W that for today. Before we leave, any advice to people out there? People are looking at this, especially people in healthcare, people in other multi-location businesses, trying to figure out what to do with AI, where to start, what to ignore, what's hype, what's real. Any advice for them as they're listening to this?
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, healthcare is at a fascinating moment. Technology is creating more opportunities to improve access, engagement, and efficiency at scale like we've never seen before. Huge areas that matter to a lot of the players in the healthcare space. But at the end of the day, our mission, remains the same: helping people get the care that they need. The organizations that succeed will be the ones that combine innovation AI innovation with compassion. And so, for us, and the feedback that I would give others is continued focus on improving access to care, enhancing patient engagement, leveraging technology responsibly, and really understanding that, technology may change how we deliver care, but it won't change why we deliver care.
Love it. Love it. Well, Robert, thank you so much for having us. And thank you, everyone who's joined us for another episode here to our weekly podcast. We are excited to have great guests like Robert continue to come in and talk about how AI and the agentic world is affecting marketing and businesses. So we'll see you on the next one, and have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave.